Hey everybody, happy Wednesday to you. Gonna switch over and post this to the page as always, real quick. Da-da-da. Okay, gonna share this up there so we have that done, and then we're gonna knock out Mr. Miracle here. So, okay, as soon as it refreshes, there we go. All right, now this one's gonna be pretty quick. This guy is just a blast. And one of my favorite DC characters. He never ceases to bring a smile to my face because of the fact that it's just that way. Romance, the dude's awesome. If you don't know Mr. Miracle, he is one of the best cosmic characters that DC Comics has. He is a Jack Kirby creation, I believe. I might be mistaken about that, but I know he drew the first incarnation of the character. So, yeah, dude's awesome. And sorry, I'm a little high strung today because of the fact that I've been busting out pages and getting this new Patreon that I discussed yesterday all nice and spiffy for everybody, and getting ready to launch that bad boy so we can hang out and talk a little more about comic books. Got the podcast up too. Someone decided to try and steal the comic Kickstarter website, and it was funny because they got a little surprised back when they tried to do so. As few of you know, I am a programmer as well as an artist, and I do many things in my work, and they got a little surprise in their email. So not supposed to do that, but whatever. They may or may not have gotten locked out of their computer, but that's that's their option. They should have done that. But no, I didn't hurt anybody. If the feds are listening, I know these guys, the FCC checks this stuff out sometimes, and no, I didn't hurt anyone. It's just somebody, a kid tried to hack my server, and I sent him a spank you, stop that letter. So that was the extent of it. But yeah, my firewall's pretty tough. But anyway, and for any of you jokers out there that do this stuff, do not push it. That is not a challenge. But anyway, I've got friends that will do that kind of thing and think it's funny. Anyway, podcast coming up. I finally got 4 episodes in the can, recorded so that we can have those back up running regular now. And that was the domain that GoDaddy decided to try to steal from me and force my hand on, and then released it once I said what I did publicly in my post. If you guys saw it, I said that they tried to steal a domain from me and lock me out before it was due for renewal, and cut me out of it early when I tried to move it. And that was the domain. And I don't normally let that domain get under 4 or 5 years at a time, but I just happened to let it slip out that I didn't have it renewed for that far. And yeah, they tried to come after it. Some people tried to come after it at GoDaddy and take my domain from me. Not impressed. But then the hackers on my service as well, which didn't happen as expected because of the fact that I don't play that game, and I keep my customers up in top ranking for my servers. So yeah, they didn't get any of my sites or my client sites, so I'm very happy with that. But this guy right here, you guys are going to be able to see him in a full poster print pretty quick, because I have decided that I'm going to do a couple of these things in full-size prints after the first of the year. So if you see these like roaming around, and you see these big prints pop up about 2 or 3 a month, that's something I'm adding in my workload very slowly. It will not be something that you guys get to see live very often, if at all, because of the fact that my workload is pressed hard enough, and I do not want to have to cut out something else to do that, including the old comic books. But yeah, that's just something else to think about. You'll be able to buy those on my site when it goes live, and if you want a big original print type of thing. And how do I get away with that, you might add? It's because it's original art. You'll be buying the original piece. So there will only be one. It will not be, when I say print, I mean I'm doing the original hand art, not physical print of, stealing DC's work or anything like that. I'm not that type of person. I don't believe in prints. I know a lot of people do, but I just don't. So I don't. I share stuff like this, and then I do stuff for educational purposes and, like tabletop books and things like that, but I don't go out to make a lot of money off of their projects. I just don't do that. And no offense to anybody that makes their money from cons doing that. I'm not gonna, show hate or anything like that for that going on. I just want to point out that I'm just not selling, stolen properties or anything like that. I don't do that. But anyway, yeah, this guy right here is, if you never read one of the books, I won't spoil it for you, but he is one of the most underestimated characters in the DC universe. And I mean that for anything, animated, comics, all of it. He gets used and abused and thrown around quite a bit. Matter of fact, I even think they had, during the fall of Superman, back in the 90s, during the Doomsday issues, they even had Mr. Miracle get busted up as one of the Justice League International to help save Superman from Doomsday. And Doomsday ended up crushing him anyway, which, if anybody knows, this guy is cosmic, and I don't think that he would have been beaten down quite as easily as they portrayed him. But, DC let it ride, so whatever management says, I guess. Whatever. But gonna mark this out right here and put in the old diaphragm of the rib cage there. Like I said, this one's going to be pretty quick, because this is a guy I've drawn 1,000 times, if not more, very easily, very quickly, and it's just one of those I can bust out real quick. Hey, Jake, glad you made it, man. But yeah, this is one of those characters that comes across really easy, and he translates so quick. And of course, that's because of Kirby's design. I mean, they've got an armored one now that's a lot different. But yeah, they got the new 52 and Rebirth version, which are just a little awkward to me because they're way too serious. And this guy's not that serious. He's more emotionally driven. And it's just not the same. I mean, literally not the same. It's almost like he's a new character. And I haven't read that book, so I don't know. Don't hold me to that, because I don't know if it is a new character or not. I know that the look is new. And I really, really, really dig seeing the classic stuff, because I just picked up a collected trade of Miracle Man. And Mr. Miracle, let's see, I got Miracle Man, Mr. Miracle, and I got a Doctor Strange collected book. and I love those things. They're black and white, and you get all the phenomenal artwork. And in the Mr. Miracle volume, it was one that I got, number one, and it was just crazy. I have it over in the library. I probably should have brought it over here when I was going to come to this side of the office. But anyway, I got that book, and it's just phenomenal because it's all Jack Kirby's original work in there with the book. That was the whole reason I got it, is because he drew a bunch of the original series. And the dude is just, everybody knows who Jack is and what his work was like. And whether you think he was an old guy and what's the big deal about him, read a comic book pre-1970 and you'll be well informed of what it is. But if not, that's okay too. Because he designed a bunch of stuff that everybody knows and loves. I love to hear people go, oh, I didn't like Jack Kirby's X-Men. And then they didn't realize, I love the Super Friends. Oh, really? Okay, cool. Well, Jack designed those. Oh, well, I love Thundar. I love the Silverhawks. I love the Thundercats. I love this, that, and the other. And he did a lot of that stuff. He did not create the Thundercats, by the way. I'm just throwing that out there as Filmation references. Because you hear all these old guys in the works, these old guard artists in the works of designing these things like the Super Friends and whatnot, and you never hear of anybody talking about them and bragging about them, but yet they're like, well, I'm 24 and I know what I'm talking about. I'm not being ageist here. I'm just throwing out an example. You'll see some young guy that doesn't know anything yet, and that's what's going on. And the problem is the culture's dropped off because people like me at my age aren't supporting those great artists anymore and keep buying comics that are commercially pop rather than viable. So that's the reason the industry's dying off, is a lot of people aren't buying comics anymore the same way they used to. And it's because they suck. But yeah, check out what Jack Kirby did. Check out what oh, good Lord, so many of those guys did. It's just crazy what they did. And this guy's tied up into it as an original design. And I'm doing the original suit. And Jack was one of the guys that did this original red and yellow suit, yellow and green suit. And then they added this big black barrier around the edge of everything to pop it off a little bit, like I'm doing here with the chest and the arms and the forehead. There's this huge black strip, and that's how they defined the separation, because they wanted some black for the contrast, and that's what they did. They just threw those big black lines in there, which I will shade those in now. But these around the eyes here, these pockets around the eyes, these lines, they are going to be red, and so is this jaw right here, and so will the neck, and so on. And the cape up here is actually green. This ring around the neck here and this little divide right here are sometimes red, sometimes yellow, depending on the colorist at the time. But they vary. But yeah, I really, really, really dig this guy. And on a cosmic level, he deals with dark side about 90% of the time, and nobody knows that he even does that. I mean, it's like the original Green Lantern running around, Alan and Hal Jordan running around fighting, these cosmic characters all the time, and nobody even knowing that they do it. And then when he comes back to Earth, he's, considered a big wuss. And the problem with that is these characters are left out there with these great cosmic stories that just don't relate to the planet because they protect them from reaching the planet. Think about that one. So check this guy out and know what's going on with him. I'm not sure what his powers are now, but this suit used to protect him from cosmic radiation, allow him to fly through space and create light disk to fly on. And he had a big laser and all this mess. But we'll see what's going on with the new stuff, as you guys pointed out, because I'm sure there's a problem here and there with this new one, because I know Rebirth is really, really rough. with a lot of those characters. And I just don't see it holding the same power and finesse that this one does. Because like I said, he looks mad all the time. And this guy's a huckster. He's a jokester. So that's what you get. I'm shading in the inside of this cape here before I start working on the medallions on his chest, just to kind of shake things up a little bit. Now these are just gold disc that hold his cape together. I don't know why they did them that way, but you know, Jack had a big reason for it. I think they're cape buckles, as it were, but who knows? You can't ever tell. But I'm going to put in a couple of little black lines here because, like I said, some variations have this, some don't. Mine does because I'm going by the Jack Kirby design. But like you said, whatever. It's okay. It's just comics. As long as you're not going crazy with it and changing everything up and, you know, whatever. And I'll tell you something funny, too. This guy got gender swapped in a couple of storylines, and nobody even knew it. Nobody even knew it. Nobody even cared. Nobody even knew it. He just instantly, they didn't even explain it or anything. He just got in a mishap where the love of his life took over. I can't remember the character's name now. The woman that is in the book with him took over the suit for a while, and it was hilarious. I thought that was just great the way they actually gender swapped him for a while. And you know, he did that back before it was cool, so whatever works, I guess. Because you know, it's cool to do all the gender swapping stuff now, and I still don't agree with it. I think they should create stronger female characters, or revitalize great ones that already exist, without tampering with so much of continuity. But that's my choice, so take that with a grain of salt. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to line this real quick right here around the good old cape. That way he stands off the card whenever I do the inking and the coloring. Just kind of going to give that a sick little starburst kind of look. I'm going to continue this outline. Sometimes I like to put the outline in, sometimes I don't. But in here on this one for him, that's what I was going to say, is that I'm going to put this one on because of the fact that I want to make sure that he stands out because he's so brightly colored. I need that contrast of that black line around him to show the outline, and that's why we need that. But yeah, this dude is about done here. I'm going to go ahead and color in some of this anyway. I probably shouldn't. And if you're doing, like I said, if you're doing this at home, please don't do this to your pencils because you'll end up having to erase it and color it in anyway. And that's exactly what I'm going to have to do here. I'm going to have to erase this. But for you guys, I want to make sure that this is completed. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. But anyway, if you guys have any questions or anything while I'm on, feel free to ask, because of the fact that once I go off air, that's going to be back to work. Definitely ask now. But yeah, I dig this guy so much. He is hilarious. And I don't know. There was a show back in the early 80s called The Greatest American Hero, if you guys ever saw that. And this guy is pretty much the same thing, because he gets into situations to where people try to put him in prison and lock him up with cosmic chains that disable his powers. And it's so strange that they want to keep him. And they want to keep him locked away all the time because they think that he's going to learn the full potential of his power and possibly come back and destroy the Earth, which cracks me up to no end because that's the last thing he wants to do. So just check him out and test it out. And if you've never seen that series that I referenced, that just exposed how old I am. But yeah, you know, just for sake of saying it, I'm 40. I turned 41 in a couple of weeks here. So you know, please don't call me old because I'm not. But yeah, that's one of those things where you can check out the Greatest American Hero and check it out. Guy gets an alien suit and learns how to use it. And brilliant series, brilliant. Just take it with a grain of salt and enjoy it for what it is, because it is definitely more of a comedy than it is a drama, and you know, an action series. And it's like watching Plastic Man come to life in a way. And this character's a lot like that because he's always learning what to do next through the natural evolution of the process and the technology that he works with, rather than fixing what's going on, which I always found that just, for lack of a better term, endearing about the character, because it's rare anymore, you know, that a character gets to learn the process and you get to go along with that without being obstructed by some form of, you know, mature drama stepping in and messing it up. Which the funny thing is, I think humor is one of the best storytellers in the world because of the fact that you get to connect on an emotional level the fastest, you know, because it's either through enjoyment or pain. So, and I prefer to smile. So that's just me. But, you know, that's one of those things you guys will have to check out and learn as you go along for yourself. But there we go. We have Mr. Miracle. I am, because he's such a bright character and such a fun dude, I am not going to get in the way of this one being bright like that. And yes, Kevin, to respond to your post, that is exactly what they said. That is exactly what they said. They lost on Greatest American Hero. I have the series on DVD as well, and I love it. And I watch it regularly just to have something as an escape, because it's mindless entertainment. It's just fun. And he lost the manual that came with the suit in the case that the aliens dropped off to see if we were ready for their kind to make contact with our planet. And this is the dude that ends up finding it, and it's great. That was a blast, man. So, well, you know, they've talked about that, but the rights are in limbo. Just as you know, or you may not know, the rights are in limbo for the Greatest American Hero right now. I don't know who even has it anymore. Fox had it for a little while, and then they lost it because they didn't use it, and hence why they're using the Fantastic Four now like crazy, because they don't want to lose it. Universal had it for a little bit, and they were talking about it. Columbia had it as a CBS production, and we're right there, man. They were right there. They actually had production on set. Then it went bust, and after that, I lost track of where it was, and that was in, oh my goodness, 2000. So there's no telling where it is now. And I know I said I wasn't going to shade this up too much because I don't want to take away from the color, but I want to add this bottom line here because there is a seam in the armor, and I want it to stand up as plates and not get that bust look, because it wasn't curved enough. So I wanted to make sure it didn't stand up like the female form rather than the chest of the man. So there we go. Mr. Miracle, I'm going to leave that alone. You guys are awesome. Thank you for stopping by and checking it out. You asked William Cat, what? Ah, Kevin posted. I know you guys can't see this in the later video, so I'm going to tell you. Kevin posted that he asked William Catt, which was the star of the Greatest American Hero. He asked him if he wanted to play over as the agent, which is an older character in the government agent character in the series, because now he's old enough to play that character. He said that William responded with the fact that he would consider it. So we'll see. I would love to see that series come back. I would love to see some decent television come back that wasn't all reality TV. Everybody seems to think that that's a modern thing, but if you look back at the old talk shows, the old game shows, the old variety shows, all of that was reality television. So this is just rehashed. So think about that one for a second. It's just a modern form of an evolution to the game show. But anyway, tomorrow we fall into a new one. I am doing DC's Starman. I love that character. He is way underestimated. He's just never gets any props. You're either a fan or you're not. If you don't know this guy, check him out before I get online, and you'll be able to research him and know what you're coming into. So anyway, we're staying with we're going from deep space today into the spirit realm and supernatural with Starman tomorrow. So I will see you guys then. Take care.